Imagine this. You're sitting on the couch, reading a storybook to your little grandchild on a quiet morning. One arm wrapped around the child, the other turning pages, your voice gently narrating each line. Everything feels peaceful, until suddenly you can't speak. Your right arm locks up. Your eyes are still open. Your mind is awake. But it's as if someone has flipped a switch in your brain. You're having a stroke, and the worst part is, it didn't come out of nowhere. It started just minutes ago, with the breakfast you thought was healthy. Shocking, isn't it? But as a brain doctor, I've seen it too many times. Older adults who were careful, clean living, no smoking, no alcohol. Even retired nurses or teachers rushed to the hospital out of nowhere with a stroke. What did they have in common? They all believed their breakfast was healthy. But the truth is, that very breakfast, the same one they've eaten for years, had been quietly damaging the blood vessels in their brain, causing sudden spikes in blood pressure, triggering micro-inflammation, thickening their blood while they slept. Why does this happen? Aging is like silently flipping a new chapter in the body. Your blood vessels aren't as flexible as they used to be. Your brain doesn't respond as quickly as it once did. What was once good when you were younger can become a burden once you're past 60. On top of that, once we start taking blood pressure meds, diabetes meds, or osteoporosis drugs, the way our body regulates morning blood pressure changes. Add in the natural cortisol spike in the early morning. Your blood thickens, pressure rises faster, and if you eat the wrong thing, your brain pays the price first. And here's the scary part. It can start with a bowl of oatmeal, a slice of toast, or just 1 cup of coffee at the wrong time. Breakfast isn't just a casual habit. It's a daily decision that can either protect your memory and alertness, or slowly steal your ability to speak, move, or even remember who you are. So what breakfast foods are secretly pushing you closer to a stroke? And how can you choose better? Let's begin with the most dangerous kind, the foods that seem healthy, but quietly mislead both your brain and your heart. You roll out of bed, shuffle into the kitchen, open the cabinet, and grab the usual. A single-serve packet of apple cinnamon instant oats. Add hot water, give it a quick stir, and that cozy aroma drifts up, smells healthy, tidy, heart-friendly, right? Sadly, the bowl you thought was a hero is actually playing the villain in an older brain's story. I once treated Harold, a 72-year-old retired teacher. Never smoked, never drank, played golf every week. Each morning he downed a packet of instant oats maple or apple cinnamon, because it was quick, easy to swallow, and seemed good for you. What he never noticed, every packet carried about 12 grams of added sugar, nearly 3 teaspoons plus more sodium than a bag of salty chips, and he'd eaten it that way for 15 years. The result, one morning, while pouring tea, Harold suddenly slurred his words. His right hand went weak. Luckily, his wife rushed him in diagnosis. A mini-stroke. That classic breakfast, light as it looked, sent Harold's blood sugar soaring day after day, sparking tiny inflammations in his brain vessels and steadily stiffening arteries already aging with time. A simpler fix? Switch to steel-cut oats, no added sugar. Skip the fake fruit flavoring, sprinkle real cinnamon. Toss in a handful of blueberries or a few unsalted walnut halves. Eat slowly, chew well. Let your body absorb those carbs at a calmer, steadier pace. Breakfast doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to be real, not eye-catching, because of a shiny box. Most important of all, it shouldn't be the thing that lands you in the hospital because of one harmless daily habit. There's something I've noticed about many older patients. They love starting the day with a little sweetness, a slice of soft white bread, a thin layer of fruit jam. Next to it, a small glass of cold orange juice, just enough to wake up. That was Margaret's routine, a gentle 78-year-old widow living alone after her husband passed. Each morning, she sat by the window, read the newspaper, and enjoyed what she lovingly called her sweet little breakfast. No one imagined that such a tiny meal could cause such a major consequence. But did you know? 2 slices of white bread plus a spoonful of jam plus a small glass of boxed orange juice, over 40 grams of sugar, that's nearly 10 teaspoons of refined sugar, flooding the bloodstream in under an hour. For a younger person, the pancreas scrambles to pump out insulin to keep blood sugar in check. But for older adults, especially post-menopausal women like Margaret, blood vessels have lost flexibility. Blood sugar is harder to stabilize, and insulin responses are slower. The result? Mild inflammation begins in the brain's blood vessels day after day. Blood gets thicker. Tiny capillaries weaken slowly. Margaret started feeling foggy, forgetful, tired even after a full night's sleep. One morning, she collapsed on the kitchen floor. Stroke caused by narrowing of the brain's small vessels. And most of that damage? It had been building up. From her gentle, sweet breakfast. It's heartbreaking, but also, it's fixable. You don't have to give up everything you love. Just tweak how you pair your foods. Swap white bread for whole grain or rye. Skip the factory-made jam and try a bit of unsweetened peanut butter or half a ripe avocado. Ditch boxed juice instead. Eat a whole orange and keep the fiber that protects you. You can still hold on to the comfort of a childhood breakfast. But make sure you're not giving up the memories you've built over a lifetime, names, faces, and stories you never want to forget. Frank is a 76-year-old veteran, tall, tough, and a fan of simplicity. He proudly lived by what he called a military-style minimalist routine. Every morning, Frank drank a cup of black coffee. No sugar, no cream. "I like to keep my stomach empty. Keeps my mind sharp," he'd say. But what I discovered made even Frank take a step back. He had been feeling light-headed by late morning, struggling to focus during conversations. One day in my clinic, he suddenly slurred his speech, then went silent for a few seconds. We checked immediately, and just as I suspected, his brain had experienced a temporary lack of blood flow, a mini-stroke. Sounds extreme for just a cup of coffee. Let me break it down. After 7 to 9 hours of sleep, your brain is low on fuel. It runs on glucose, a small but vital energy source. When you skip breakfast and just drink coffee or tea, your body goes into mild stress mode. It releases cortisol and adrenaline to keep you alert. These hormones tighten your blood vessels, raise blood pressure, and make your blood thicker. In young people, the body can handle that. But in older adults, when vessels are stiffer, even one strong constriction can block blood from reaching the brain fast enough. Frank had no diabetes. He wasn't overweight. He just started each day hungry and under quiet, chronic stress. And the price? A mini-stroke that stole his ability to climb stairs because his balance never fully recovered. But the solution, surprisingly simple. Eat something real, even if small, like a boiled egg, a handful of unsalted nuts, or half a banana. That's enough to balance blood sugar, lubricate your vessels, and ease blood flow to your brain. Still love coffee? Drink a glass of water first to thin your blood, have a light bite, and then enjoy your coffee. That way, caffeine helps you stay alert without harming your brain. Your mornings don't have to be fancy, but they should be kind to the brain that holds your memories, your dignity, your strength, and your love. I never thought someone like Richard would end up in my office, his left hand trembling, eyes heavy with sadness. He was a 69-year-old retired firefighter, strong, disciplined, sharp. He told me proudly, "I've eaten the same breakfast since Fire Academy. 2 fried eggs, 3 strips of bacon, sausage, and buttered toast. A real man's breakfast, Doc." And honestly, that's a common breakfast for many older Americans. It's filling, satisfying, familiar, and easy to make. But for Richard and thousands of patients, I've seen this kind of breakfast is like a hidden knife. Every morning, it delivers one more silent blow to the brain's blood vessels. Here's why. Fried eggs in butter, sausage, and cured meats are loaded with saturated fats, plus salt, nitrates, and preservatives, all of which aging circulatory systems struggle to handle. Morning is when blood pressure naturally spikes the morning surge. If you load up on salt and saturated fats during that window, you're creating a double hit to your brain's blood vessels' elevated pressure, plus poor blood flow. That's how Richard, despite having no major medical conditions, ended up with a mini-stroke one March morning. His left hand weakened, his signature went crooked. "I can't hold my fishing rod anymore, Doc," he said, and in that moment I realized I wasn't just treating a patient, I was trying to restore a piece of joy that had been lost. Does that mean you have to give up meat and eggs completely? Not at all. Here's a smarter way. Boiled eggs instead of ones fried in butter or oil. Swap sausage for avocado slices or steamed salmon, if it's available. Add greens or tomato slices to your whole grain toast instead of bacon or ham. And always drink warm water first to gently wake up your blood vessels. Your body still needs protein, but it also needs gentleness and wisdom in choosing where that nutrition comes from. Your brain doesn't need strength from fat and salt. It needs clean arteries and smooth blood flow every single morning. A small shift in your plate can help you keep your handwriting steady, your eyes clear when watching your grandkids, and most importantly, Elaine was a 74-year-old woman who had worked as a nurse for over 30 years. Thoughtful, elegant, and now living alone after her husband passed. When she came to my clinic, she told me, "To be honest, doctor, I don't really eat breakfast. Just a little water with my pills, maybe something light at lunch." And I understood many older adults do the same. No hunger, no need to eat. Sounds logical, right? But in reality, it's one of the most dangerous habits for an aging brain. Here's why. After 7 to 9 hours of sleep, your body has already burned through a lot of fuel. Even while you rest, your brain stays active, repairing memories, cleaning up damaged cells. By morning, your brain needs glucose, its primary fuel, to fully restart. But when you skip breakfast, there's nothing to stabilize your blood sugar. So your body switches to emergency mode, releasing cortisol and adrenaline to keep you awake and functional. These stress hormones tighten blood vessels, spike blood pressure, and increase heart rate. For young people, this might just mean feeling hungry or cranky. But for Elaine with fragile blood vessels and unstable blood pressure. This quiet stress made it harder for blood to reach her brain. She began to feel light headaches, struggled to recall names, and got dizzy whenever she stood up. Then one morning, while washing her face, she slipped in the bathroom. She didn't lose consciousness, but from that day on, she no longer felt confident walking alone. Diagnosis: reduced cerebral perfusion. In simpler terms, her brain wasn't getting enough blood, because it had no fuel to run on. You don't need a grand breakfast, but you do need something real. A boiled egg, a handful of unsalted nuts, a slice of whole grain toast with a small banana. These tiny choices, taken at the right moment, can become a quiet shield protecting your brain from a sudden, uninvited stroke. Don't think of skipping breakfast as saving time or calories. In truth, you may be spending bits of your memory and balance without even realizing it. Nancy, a 71-year-old retired librarian from Ohio, came to see me because of mild hand tremors and that frustrating morning brain fog. She had no history of stroke, no major health issues. Her breakfast: one slice of white bread, strawberry jam, black coffee, and sometimes nothing at all. "I'm just not hungry in the morning," she said. "It's a habit now." We took a closer look at that habit, and I suggested a small shift. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive, nothing complicated, but it turned out to be a game changer. The white bread swapped for a slice of whole grain toast, the sugary jam replaced with half a mashed avocado, sprinkled with a little turmeric, the black coffee still there, but now enjoyed after a light meal and a glass of warm water. That's it. But within a few weeks, Nancy came back with a brighter smile, a steadier voice, and hands that barely trembled anymore. Most importantly, her brain was finally getting the fuel it needed first thing in the morning, naturally, safely, and sustainably. Let me put it this way. The aging brain doesn't need a full tank like a truck. It needs a steady, high-quality stream of fuel, reliable, calming, and easy to process. A good breakfast should stabilize blood sugar, reduce low-grade inflammation in blood vessels, avoid thickening the blood or spiking blood pressure. So what are some of the brain's favorite foods? Unsweetened oats, the less processed, the better walnuts, and unsalted almonds, heart and brain-friendly fats. Boiled eggs, gentle, steady protein. Berries, like blueberries, strawberries, black currants, rich in antioxidants. Leafy greens, especially dark ones like spinach, avocados. Healthy fats that soften your blood vessels. Drinking a warm glass of water before eating also helps thin the blood and improves circulation. Just a tiny habit with a massive payoff. And most importantly, this isn't a diet. It's how you choose to begin your day with a kind decision for yourself. Your body doesn't ask for something complicated. It just wants to be treated like an old friend, one who has quietly carried you through life and deserves your care in return. Every morning is a crossroads. Choose wisely, and you keep your memory, your balance, and yourself. If you followed along this far, you've probably realized one thing. A stroke isn't a sudden storm out of nowhere. It's something quietly built, morning by morning, choice by choice. Through that packet of instant oats, through that slice of white bread, through that black coffee on an empty stomach. We never notice it until a word won't come out. A hand won't move. Or a familiar face fades into a blur. You've met Harold, the retired teacher, who collapsed from a bowl of healthy oatmeal. You've seen Margaret losing memories to a sweet little breakfast from her youth. You've heard Frank, the strong veteran, who had to give up stairs because of black coffee and nothing else. You've felt the stories of Elaine, Richard, and Nancy, each believing, "I'm fine," until one morning changed everything. But you're different in one powerful way. You know early. And when it comes to stroke and brain health, early is everything. You don't need to change everything overnight. All it takes is a glass of water first thing in the morning, a boiled egg instead of sausage, a slice of avocado instead of sugary jam, a moment of mindfulness before the first bite. These tiny shifts don't just protect your memory. They protect your independence, your ability to walk, to speak, to hold a loved one's hand, to remember the names and stories that make your life whole. A gentle reminder, tomorrow morning, before you eat anything, ask yourself, is this going to fuel my brain or quietly drain it? And if the answer gives you pause, that may be the perfect time to choose differently. You don't need a perfect breakfast. You just need one that's kind to your brain, your body, and the version of you that's still here, showing up and choosing to care. If you saw a little bit of yourself in this video, don't worry, we can't rewrite the past. But tomorrow morning, it's still wide open. I'd love to hear from you. What's one morning habit you've been holding on to? And after watching this, do you feel like changing it? Maybe you'll drink water before your coffee. Maybe you'll eat a banana before heading out the door. Maybe it's just taking a moment to pause before breakfast. Whatever it is, write it down below. Because real change starts with naming a thought. And if this video made you think of someone you care about, share it with them. As a gentle reminder that breakfast isn't just a meal. It's how we begin to protect our brain and the memories that make us who we are.